days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the show, the game preview show. 49ers versus the Los Angeles Rams. This is going to be a cool matchup. It's the second meeting of the season between the 49ers and their division rival Rams. And last year, this rivalry was painted all throughout the season. From early on in the season, the 49ers turning around their 3-5 record, getting a huge win over the Rams and then being able to catapult themselves into the playoffs. By beating the Rams again in Week 18, followed by an NFC Championship matchup. So these two teams have went back and forth over the last year or so now. The 49ers have dominated the regular season matchups. The 49ers have beat them 8 times in a row. The Rams' one big win came in the NFC Championship, and that's where you want your big win to happen, and they got it done in that situation. Ended up winning the Super Bowl. So the 49ers are coming into this game with a 2-0 record in the division, looking to put an absolute stranglehold on it by beating the Rams and putting a 2-game distance. The Rams would have to then get a full game ahead of the 49ers to be able to win the division as long as the 49ers kept winning. Right now, of course, Seattle's on top. Can they continue that performance? We're going to see how this thing plays out. But this 49ers versus Rams matchup is always fun because these teams know each other so well, and it always starts with the coaches. Sean McVay, and Kyle Shanahan, they've coached together. They run a similar system. They understand what each other's trying to do on the offensive side of the ball. Kyle Shanahan has consistently had the upper hand in how he attacks the Rams. Now, the Rams' one big victory came in the NFC Championship game, and that was with Sean McVay being able to get a run game established against the 49ers. And the 49ers have some question marks on defense being able to stop the run. Eric Armstead was a part of that first matchup this year to help stop the run. He's not there. They're going to be going with Kevin Givens and Hassan Ridgeway. This has been the consistent pattern for the 49ers. That's who they got going with Armstead and Kinlaw on the shelf. So these guys have to be able to establish or stop the run and establish dominance and make the Rams go one-dimensional. Once they go one-dimensional, then you can start making plays in the secondary because the 2-1 nature at which Matthew Stafford turns over the football means there's going to be opportunities to make plays. There was opportunities in the NFC Championship game the 49ers did not capitalize on. They did capitalize on them in their matchup earlier this year. Talanoa Hufanga with a huge pick six. They also sacked Matthew Stafford 8 times in that game. So the 49ers and Rams have some interesting matchups. We're going to go over those matchups. We're going to go through key matchups in the game. And then we're also going to go through, wow, that's bold, predictions, some crazy predictions I think could happen, and then I'll give the score prediction as well. Those things are all coming in this episode. So let's talk about some of the injuries and some of the players that there's concerns about. Number one, to me, Deebo Samuel's hamstring. Deebo has been handling the Rams for several years now. He's just always makes big plays and didn't change this year. He catches the slant pass, passes high. Jimmy claims that he saw the defender, so he threw it high. All I know is Deebo Samuel made a tremendous play and then took it to the house, got some tremendous blocking downfield from George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, and then absolutely ran over Jalen Ramsey. So Deebo's still going to have that factor in this football game, and he's got the hamstring. I do believe he's going to play. I think he's going to be out there, and I think they're going to have to pay a lot of attention to him. If you put Jalen Ramsey on him, yeah, you can take Deebo away. The problem is then everyone else is going to have an advantage for the 49ers, and traveling a defender around makes it easier for Kyle Shanahan to kind of know where that defender is going to be and be able to scheme it up around him. So I think that's something to remember as we're watching this as well. And then on defense, you have Dre Greenlaw, who's been dealing with a calf. I expect Greenlaw to play, but he did miss the second half of the Kansas City Chiefs game. And with him not out there, the run defense would take a hit. In Week 18, in the NFC Championship game, Dre Greenlaw had to step away because of injury, and the Rams really got a run game going. So I think early on in this football game, that's going to be something to monitor. If Dre Greenlaw is out there and capable of helping stop the run, the 49ers will be okay. Ridgeway, Givens, good run stoppers. Where they struggle a little bit is in pass, and as far as getting a pressure up the middle onto a quarterback. So we're at least able to somewhat withstand the struggle or the movement of the offensive line. Now they are getting their starting center back. So the Los Angeles Rams are getting healthy in a couple of areas, and one of those is getting Brian Allen, their center back. They still have a left side of the line that is marred by injury. They've got Bobby Evans playing left tackle now in place of Joe Noboom, and they've got Matt Skura playing in place of David Edwards. So we've seen center be a real struggle for the Rams in the earlier matchup this season, and now the 49ers are going to have to go against the number one guy in Brian Allen. Brian Allen's not exactly the best name in 49er land. Different player here, but just thought I would point that out for grins because it's funny. But there are weapons for the Los Angeles Rams they're going to be able to use, and that's why you need a guy like Dre Greenlaw, because he's also going to help you against tight end Tyler Higbee. Higbee is a tough matchup, and he's gotten off against the 49ers over the last several times that they've played. Famously, in that Week 18 matchup, Higbee gets 2 touchdowns, one of which McVay sprints down to the end zone and is excited about their opportunity that they're going to put the 49ers away, prevent the Niners from getting to the playoffs, and it all turned from there. So there are some guys coming back. Also, it looks like Van Jefferson is going to be back, which is a huge addition to the Rams wide receiver core. He's got explosive nature. He can take the top off the defense. The 49ers just saw a bunch of receivers that could do that. MVS, McCole Hardman, who's going to add that added element. It was a lot easier in the first matchup when it was Kupp, Allen Robinson, and Skowronek, because Skowronek, even though he's pretty well equipped as a receiver in the league, is not somebody that can take the top off. So you weren't worried about one-on-one matchups. They were able to put Mosley and Ward in one-on-one situations now. Mosley's gone. It's Deommodore Lenoir. Who plays the nickels? Is it Jimmy Ward? Is it Samuel Womack? That's going to be tough dealing with Cooper Kupp. So do I think the Rams will have a little bit more offensive success in this matchup than they did in the previous? Yes, I do. They're only able to get 9 points against the 49ers in their first matchup, 24-9 San Francisco. So I think there's something there. And as far as injuries on the 49ers end, right now, the Emmanuel Mosley one, of course, was season-ending, but since then, there hasn't been any more season-ending injuries. They've been dealing with things, but most of the players are day-to-day and able to play. We're waiting on Armstead, waiting on Azeez Al-Shire, Elijah Mitchell, and Colton McKivitz to get back. But when these players get back, they're going to make a huge impact. You're just hoping they stay healthy. Plus, the 49ers have a shiny new toy for Kyle Shanahan to use in Christian McCaffrey, and I think he's going to have a tremendous impact on this football game because now you can run outside zone. He's got that explosiveness. He had over 150 yards of total offense against the Rams just 2 weeks ago when they played Carolina right before they went in their bye, including 86 yards receiving. He had over a 5-yard average rushing, over 86 yards receiving on 7 catches. Explosive manner in which he can go about it, and puts a lot of stress on players like Bobby Wagner to be able to cover in space. And I love Bobby Wagner. I think he's one of the best to do it at linebacker, but that is a mismatch problem for them. So they're going to be trying to look at a way to get safeties lined up against McCaffrey, which could still be a little bit of a matchup problem for the Rams. So I do believe the 49ers are going to have some matchups that they can take advantage of. They're going to have to make sure they scheme up personnel in a certain way, and it's all going to change a little bit because Kyle Juszczyk is out. Kyle Juszczyk damaged his pinky. He had surgery. He's out for this week, they've already said. He will come back for the Chargers game. But the way that you normally go about offense against the Rams, it can't be done with Kyle Juszczyk. So you have to find another way. Is that going to be Ross Dwelley? Is it going to be Tyler Kroft? Could Kroft, be coming back from his injury? He was playing so much early on in the season. Or could they just go with extra wide receivers? They could. Juwan Jennings dealing with a hamstring. Deebo Samuel dealing with a hamstring. So they're going to have to figure some things out, and this is going to be an exciting one. But let's get into our first matchup, and let's go for the 49ers offensive key matchup, which is BAG on money downs. It's the 49ers versus third down. This has been a problem for the 49ers when they are struggling on offense. Getting behind the sticks, 3rd and 7 plus, are times when the 49ers haven't been able to execute their offense at a high level. A lot of that is caused by negative plays. It's caused by penalties. You can't have that happen. You need Jimmy Garoppolo to have 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s. Those are situations he can convert on, and when he gets those, he usually does pretty good. Last year, they really showed that. Those are places where he can execute. They can get almost well over 40% in that area. So I think that's what it's about. It's about getting it done on 3rd down, continuing drives, continuing that rhythm for Kyle Shanahan. But it starts on early downs, being able to execute, being able to get, 3, 4 yards on first down, being able to roll out and get 7 yards on first down. Brandon Ayuk catching the ball in a slant for 6 on first down. Getting ahead of the sticks is very important. That way, when you are forced with third down, number one, they have to worry about you being able to run the football. If it's third and short, they have to play run too. So it doesn't allow them to just get right off the ball and come after you with the pass rush. They have to somewhat play it differently, especially with how explosive the 49ers run game could potentially be with Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. So getting in those third and shorts and making them play both situations is better. When you're in 3rd and 10 and they know you have to pass, they can come after you. The defensive coordinators, like Raheem Morris, can come up with exotic blitzes to get after Jimmy Garoppolo and make him get rid of the football before he wants. So being a G on third down is going to be important. Converting on third downs, but also making sure that you take care of business on first and second so you have short yardage situations. That's what the 49ers need to do. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to play a big part in that because of matchup issues with him and Deebo Samuel. What are you going to get out of it? Kyle Shanahan against the Rams in the first matchup, and you can go over to Patreon and check out my scouting report video. Went into the Deebo package for some of those plays and watch Deebo run pitches outside. There's just short pitches as well where he has a two-way go. He can go inside, he can go outside, depending on how the blocking develops. And Deebo was a little slow to read when he was supposed to cut. Deebo looked like a wide receiver playing running back. He's not in the zone like he was last year as far as running the football in the backfield. Now you can do that same exact thing with Christian McCaffrey, and McCaffrey is an experienced running back who has all the vision necessary and the ability to one-cut go and then make somebody else miss. So there's going to be a different style and explosiveness to with Christian McCaffrey running those exact plays. The cool thing about it is they're the inverse of each other. Deebo is a wide receiver who plays running back. Christian McCaffrey's a running back who can play wide receiver. Being able to use them both in those certain roles is going to be fun. Having them out on the field at the same time could be fun. Kyle, can we please get a formation where both guys start in the backfield? I don't care what you do with them back there, but being able to motion one out, being able to run a fake, a little something with the other guy going out in the flat, all kinds of cool things. And I think the looks are going to continue to get more and more exotic as Christian McCaffrey gets more of a hold on this offense. Now, they're putting a game plan, and he's going to understand this game plan fully because they said he did a really good job of picking up the verbiage, picking up what he needed to know about each play. That's a big factor and why he got 22 snaps last week against the Kansas City Chiefs. And the 49ers got to build on that. And one of those ways is just third down efficiency. So I'm hoping they're going to do that. Do not turn over the football this week on offense. Make sure that doesn't happen. You need to be in the plus category as far as turnovers to be able to beat the Rams. This is a huge football game because if you do beat the Rams, you take a absolute huge lead in the division. I think that is big. It may not be that they're overtaking the Seahawks yet, but you have a win over them as well. So you're sitting in a good spot going into the bye 4-4. It's a big time game for the 49ers. And I think McCaffrey's ability to make plays on the outside is going to open up the passing game for Jimmy Garoppolo as well. Got to go through the scouting report video and watch. You could see when the 49ers were able to establish that outside run, Jeff Wilson Jr. with a quick pitch, he actually took one to the house where they ran a wham block, which means they took the tight end and he blocked an interior defensive lineman. They ran it again with George Kittle later. Did not have the same success, limited success, but it's something they continue to do. They take advantage of those outside linebackers on the edge with the run game. With Christian McCaffrey, you're really going to put them with a lot of stress. If you throw that pitch out there and he's going outside as a linebacker, you have to fly out there to be able to get him because he's got that 4.4 speed. Jeff Wilson Jr. doesn't have that. Now, if you do fly out, though, you can overcommit and go too far. And when you over pursue, they can kick and slide you out. So normally an offensive lineman wouldn't be able to get to you. They can get to you now because you've over pursued. They kick you out. Running back runs underneath with a cutback, and it's a huge play. Those are things McCaffrey's going to be able to add. Those are things I'm excited about him doing in this offense. And I'm hoping we just see a lot more screens to McCaffrey, to Brandon Ayuk, because those are places you can take advantage of the Rams as well. So offense is going to be exciting. Every time McCaffrey touches the football, I'm going to be lit up and waiting for something big to happen. But I think the offense, offensive maturity, executing, it's all going to come down to third down, making sure it's third and short, and then executing those. Now, when we go to the defensive side of the football, and it's about surprising Stafford. It's Matthew Stafford versus DeMeco Ryans. And it's not different from a lot of game plans that I've seen or that I've come up with, as far as what I think key matchups are, D'Amico versus Stafford. Because if you can get Stafford off his game, if you can make him hold the football, he'll either do two things. Number one, he will take a sack, which are huge plays and changers, because just like you want third and short, the Rams also want those convertible plays where you can run Cooper Kupp on one of those short whip routes or one of those, plays over the middle and get him the ball and convert on first downs. Those are backbreakers. If you get those big sacks, it makes it tougher. Also, you have Stafford, he'll force footballs. We just talked about his 2-to-1 turnover ratio compared to touchdowns. He's going to give you opportunities to make plays, and one of the best ways you can do that is by confusing him. And the 49ers did that in the first matchup. They would play games with their safeties. They would bring Hufanga late. They would show Gibson in the box, drop him off, and then bring Hufanga. They would show one of them in the box and then run a two-deep zone. Now, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for the 49ers if they're not able to leave Lenore out there sometimes one-on-one on the outside. If they have to continually give him help, then everyone kind of has to play roles differently. Part of the reason they were so successful as a defense, they were able to play free. They could play free in a lot of areas because Mosley and Ward locked people down on the outside. I mean, safeties, linebackers didn't have to cover for anyone else. You didn't have to go exotic with your coverage scheme. But now the 49ers are going to have to go more exotic. They're going to have to give help. It's not different than last year when they had Ambry Thomas. They're going to have to do similar things. And, of course, you always have to locate 10. Where's Cooper Kupp at all times? Jefferson makes it a little bit more difficult with his ability to get vertical. So it's going to change this, Rams offense and their explosive nature a little bit. I think they're going to have a little bit more success against the 49ers defense. 49ers defense has got to figure this out. But I think they're going to really look at themselves and how exactly they got attacked by the Chiefs and make sure things like that don't happen again. McVay will take advantage, and McVay's opening script is fantastic. I mean, the one against the 49ers in their first matchup, he executed at a high level. Did he abandon the run early? After that, yes, he did, because the 49ers were stuffing them. I think they held them to 56 yards in the game. That's not an efficient and effective run game. That's going to be important for the 49ers, is to make sure they do that. But confusing Stafford, how do you confuse Stafford? It's all about movement late. So he wants to come to the line of scrimmage. He wants to take a look at your defense. He's going to try to give a little bit of motion or something that's going to get you to move as a defense. If you hold your water a little bit longer, you don't want to end up being out of position. But if you hold your water and just wait for a second, he'll reset trying to run whatever play. Now, do they quick snap the 49ers sometimes? Yes, they did that a lot. They did maybe, I think, 2 or 3 times in the first matchup. So they can do that. But holding your water, you're going to be able to make plays. Then it makes him read those things post-snap. Any pre-snap, thoughts that he has, you have to make them change as the play happens. So sometimes you want it to look the same, and he knows what he's got, and sometimes you want to confuse him. But getting out there and with movement in the defense, with shell coverages, is going to be important. And also blitzing Stafford was huge in that early season matchup. And normally Stafford is great against the blitz, but D'Amico Ryan's way of going about it and the way of getting extra guys there was nice. Also, defensive line stunts, being able to get guys, bring Fred Warner up, have 2 guys go this way, occupy 3 blockers, have the 2 guys you have 3 defensive linemen on one side with Bosa being outside in the wide 9, having those 2 guys go occupy blockers with Bosa swinging to the inside. It's great stunt moves, great line moves, also timely blitzing. That's what you have to do against Stafford. It has to be consistently different looks, switch between zones, cover 6, quarters, cover 2, cover 3. Just continue to keep him on his toes, not let him understand what he's looking at, make him decipher coverages during the play, and make him want to go to Cooper Kupp all the time. A lot of times he just gets into where it's like automatically, I don't know what to do, I'm going to Kupp. I don't know what to do, I'm going to Kupp. So I think that's what the 49ers and D'Amico Ryan needs to do for this defense, and I think they can do that. I think they can really go in there and handle, this Rams offense. I think the Rams will have some plays because Matthew Stafford's too good. Cooper Kupp is too good. They're going to make plays, and one of the things you have to do early, like I've talked about before, is locating Tyler Higbee. Higbee has had great success against the 49ers, and what they've done is try to get your attention, going with Cooper Kupp and going with, Allen Robinson, and then leaving the middle of the field open for Higbee. So that's something the 49ers are going to have to monitor and take advantage of. But now let's get into our Wow, That's Bold prediction.
Wow, that's really bold. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
My wow, that's bold prediction is probably going to seem really, really bold with the way that the 49ers have played offense and the way Jimmy Garoppolo has played over the last couple weeks. But I think the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo, I think he's going to throw for at least 2 touchdowns, and I think he's going to have 0 turnovers in this game. I think it's going to be good Jimmy. He plays well against the Rams. I think he's going to have, some big-time plays. And I think the 49ers, can get some offense going against the Rams. So at least 2 touchdowns for Jimmy Garoppolo with 0 turnovers. It could be the boldest statement of the year with the way Jimmy has turned over the football over the last couple weeks, but I think they get it together. They figure it out. And now it's time for the score prediction. 49ers versus Rams in Levi South. There's 49er fans are going to be out in force. John Chapman's leading the Rush road trip down there. There's going to be a lot of people wearing red and gold. There's a lot of 49er fans in Los Angeles. And I think they're going to show up in a big way. I won't be shocked if it's not 60-40 49er fans to Rams. And I think that's going to help impact this football game because I do think the 49ers are going to be able to execute at a better rate than they did against Kansas City. I think it left a bad taste in their mouth. They were very disappointed with their performance. They could have easily been more involved in that game. I mean, down 5 in the fourth quarter, you've got to think that you're, in the midst of being able to hang with Kansas City. They let it all fall apart. And I don't think they let that happen this week. I think the 49ers do get a victory, and I might surprise some people with my score, but this is just what I believe. And I think the 49ers are going to take care of business. I think Jimmy Garoppolo in this offense with Christian McCaffrey in there are going to light up the scoreboard. And I think the 49ers are going to win this game 34-19. That's what I'm going with. 34-19. I think the Rams will get some points. I think they'll be able to move the football against this 49ers defense. I think it'll be a little bit tougher than it was their first matchup to stop the run. Adding Van Jefferson in is going to make an impact. But I think overall, because you have without Osley, they're going to make some plays. But I think the offense is what's going to really execute. And unlike the Kansas City game where they couldn't score touchdowns, they kept kicking field goals, I think they're going to score touchdowns against the Rams. And I'm really excited about that proposition. I'm excited about this game because a 49ers victory against the Los Angeles Rams means they're 3-0 in the division with wins over the Rams, who are in third place, and the Seahawks, who are in first place in the division. I think that's important to remember. You still have 2 games against Arizona, none of which are in Arizona. One in Mexico City, one at home. So those are good things for the 49ers, and they're getting close. And one of the easiest ways to get to the playoffs is through your division. So winning division matchups are huge. This game is very pivotal for both teams. It puts the Rams behind the 8 ball, and it puts the 49ers in a good situation going into their bye. The 49ers 34-19. Let me know what you thought of this game preview show. Let me know what your score prediction is. What's your wow that's bold? I love getting the wow that's bold. Longtime Niner fans give me a wow that's bold every week. Very fantastic. Always love reading them. So let me know in the comment section what you think. Am I crazy with my wow that's bold about Jimmy? Am I crazy with my score prediction? The 49ers can't possibly score 30 points. Let me know what you think. And if you've watched the video and you enjoyed it, give me a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. Thanks everyone so much for watching. 49ers versus Rams coming up Sunday. And of course, hop on to the game reaction show after and we'll get all into it. Leave your questions. I'll go through every single one of them. We'll have fun with it. And of course, there's going to be more content coming out for the rest of the week. Madden Sim coming out on Friday. What's good with Jay in the Bay Friday. And then on Saturday, what's the game plan? Even more into the X's and O's, all the scouting report, all the investigation into the Rams. Get to break it down exactly how the 49ers plan to attack on offense and defense. So make sure you join for that. But like always, I really appreciate everyone for taking the time to watch. Stay safe and remember the right way is always the 49ers way.